Right now, new developments in a stabbing in Fitchburg. What we know so far.
Plus, the conclave to elect the next pope has started. What U.S. Catholics are hoping to see in the next papacy.
And today is the day how airports across the country are dealing with the launch of Real ID.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now this morning on a Wednesday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Thanks for tuning in. 20 years ago, that's whenever they passed the Real ID law in Washington. We talked about it for so long.
And now in 2025,
yeah.
I would say, yeah, that was years before I could even drive. And now in 2025, they're finally putting their foot down.
Yeah.
I hope people show up prepared to the airport.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, some folks got to go to the DMV.
Yes, I'm sure the lines will be outrageous today.
Yeah, we'll see about that. All right, let's check in with Savannah Brito, see what it's like outside if you're thinking about going to the DMV today. Hey there, Savannah.
Hey guys, good morning. Later in the day, temperatures will warm, but we're not starting off terribly. In fact, temperatures are really mild, and winds, those are calm to even light, up to about 5 miles per hour. Some of us closer to 10. Everyone will see breezy conditions slowly start to return by the afternoon. We're looking at least gusts up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour. But temperatures, these are going to rise close to 70. We're waking up to the upper 40s, mid to upper 40s, and got a couple of 50s, including us here in Madison. 52, but we'll be close to 70 today, so cooler than yesterday, but still a couple degrees above average. We'll talk about the even warmer temperature pattern that's going to return and when we have some minimal rain chances in the forecast coming up.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Savannah. Now to some developing news. Authorities say that a man stabbed outside of a Fitchburg bar and grill has died. Officers say the stabbing happened in the Monkey Shines parking lot around 1 o'clock yesterday morning. Police say a 39-year-old is in custody this morning. Officers say information will be released later today, so make sure to keep it on News 3 Now for those updates.
New this morning, the Sauk County Sheriff's Office is investigating a fire truck crash that left 2 firefighters with non-life-threatening injuries. Merrimack Fire and Rescue say the department had been conducting a training exercise. One of their water tenders lost control on Highway 113, North Highway 78 near Lake, Wisconsin. The truck entered the ditch and rolled over. Both people inside were pinned and later transported to UW Hospital via med flight. Remember to download our Channel 3000 mobile app to stay up to date with all the latest headlines.
A live look at Vatican City this morning. Cardinals are now resting right before their return to the Sistine Chapel. That's where they will hold a vote to decide Pope Francis's successor. They will remain locked inside until a decision is made. While we don't know when the conclave will end, we do know one of the 133 cardinals within it will come out as Pope.
While Catholics can't be a part of the decision, a new CBS poll shows what Catholics in the U.S. are looking for. Many U.S. Catholics thought that the church was out of touch before Pope Francis's papacy. Now they want the next pope to continue his teachings. Most say it doesn't matter where the next pope comes from, but if they had a choice, plenty say they would want the pope to come from the states. Most also want the next pope to be outspoken on world political issues. Views did vary between Catholics and who are common churchgoers and the larger group of U.S. Catholics who rarely or never go. Cardinals around the world have their own hopes on what the next pope will be like.
We won't have a new Francis. Yeah, Francis is Francis.
I hope there's a pope that is like Jesus.
Pope Francis was elected within 2 days. The shortest conclave took just 10 hours back in the 1500s. The longest conclave was in 1289, lasting 2 years and 9 months.
Well, today is a real test for the TSA. After talking about it for 20 years, today is the day they launch Real ID requirements. So from today onwards, Real ID compliant documentation has to be used at airports, federal buildings, and military bases. Alongside Real IDs, that includes U.S. passports and tribal IDs. TSA says about 20% of people showing up at airports right now don't have a Real ID. So for those last-minute scramblers, they are at long lines outside of the DMV. AAA spokeswoman says for now, if you have a passport and no Real ID, wait until your license is up for renewal and then get a Real ID.
In more local news, Whitewater police have arrested 6 men involved in a human trafficking operation that unfolded near the end of last month. According to officials, the arrests were the result of a coordinated effort targeting prostitution and related criminal activity in the Whitewater area. All 6 suspects were booked into the Walworth County Jail and now face a range of charges. All have been charged with engaging in prostitution.
It's National Nurses Week, highlighting one UW Health burn unit nurse that goes above and beyond. Luke Marcus here. He's been a part of the unit for more than 20 years. Marcus worked with the American Burn Association on its efforts to develop requirements for the world's first burn nursing specialty certification. He received an approval last year. Many of Marcus's patients are men. They tend to have lengthy hospital stays, so Marcus decided to take up a hobby to help keep them up with their hygiene.
We all feel better after you get a haircut, so I took it upon myself to cut people's hair. A small act of, almost like an act of kindness.
Love that. That kindness goes a long way, I'm sure. National Nurses Week ends on May 12th.
In state capitol news, a new proposal would make it easier for advanced practice nurses like nurse practitioners to do their jobs in Wisconsin. Now, APRNs need to work alongside a fully credentialed doctor in order to practice medicine. This has been a roadblock, especially in areas facing doctor shortages. Lawmakers want to remove the barrier to allow these nurses to practice. The bill has bipartisan support. Similar bills have been proposed in the past. Governor Tony Evers has vetoed them, saying he supports the ideas but wanted more safeguards.
President Trump says he wants pharmaceutical companies to make more drugs in the U.S. He signed an executive order yesterday that would make it easier for the companies to build new plants in the U.S. The president says he plans to address the high cost of medicine and drugs in the country next week. He previously threatened to impose tariffs on drugs coming into the country, but industry experts warn that would drive up prices and increase shortages.
The Supreme Court will allow President Trump to implement his ban on transgender people serving in the military. The justices granted an emergency request from the administration to lift a nationwide injunction blocking the policy while litigation continues. Defense Department data shows there are just over 4,000 transgender people currently serving in the military.
A new poll finds over half of Americans have confidence in federal health agencies to carry out key responsibilities. Those responsibilities include ensuring the safety and effectiveness of prescription drugs or vaccines, responding to outbreaks of infectious disease, and acting independently of outside interests. Nearly 60% of Americans say they have at least a fair amount of trust in the CDC or the FDA to offer reliable information about vaccines. Most respondents consider routine vaccines, like those for measles, the flu, and pneumonia, safe.
Madison Gas and Electric is expanding its clean energy footprint with a new project in Fitchburg. The Public Service Commission has approved the Sunnyside Solar Energy Center. That's a 20-megawatt solar array paired with 40 megawatts of battery storage. The solar facility is expected online by late next year with battery storage in 2027. MGE says it will generate enough carbon-free electricity to power 6,000 homes. This marks their first local solar project with battery storage. This furthers its goal of 80% carbon reduction by 2030.
Residents on Madison's Willie Street are worried for their safety on the sidewalk. It comes after a car crashed into a local coffee shop last Friday again. The Mother Fools coffee shop has been hit by a car now 3 times in the past 30 years. Owner Stephanie Rierick says the city's talked about adding some speed bumps or barriers in the sidewalk to help, but everything's still in the conceptual phase. Local residents like Ann Walker says the traffic on Willie Street needs to be taken seriously.
One of the real concerns is that we're going to wait to do something about this problem until someone gets hurt or killed.
It is such a bike and pedestrian friendly, and in order for it to stay that way, we need to reduce the flying through of cars.
No one was hurt by Friday's crash. Madison's Traffic Engineering Division says the reason more cars crash into businesses on Willie Street is because of the building's closer proximity than other areas in the city.
Dane County is encouraging residents to fill out a survey to improve active transportation in the region. Active transportation refers to any mode of transport that isn't typically motorized, like biking, walking, or using a wheelchair or mobility device. These survey answers will be used to form a plan to make these forms of transport safer and easier in the county. The cities of Fitchburg, Middleton, and Madison will share their own plans with local communities. The survey is available in both English and Spanish. The deadline for submissions is July 1st. To fill it out, you can go to this story on our website at channel3000.com.
Well, the historic Tommy Bartlett show site in Wisconsin Dells has officially been sold to Ripley's Believe It or Not. The sale includes the Tommy Bartlett Exploratory, which will remain open year-round. After 68 seasons, the Tommy Bartlett show closed in 2020 during the pandemic, marking the end of an era.
When I talk to people, I tell them that I feel like I had the best childhood ever. The show was like a playground for me when I was young. It was fun to work. I wanted to work 7 days a week when I started. It was neat to see visitors so happy when they came there.
Ripley's has held a presence in the Dells for the last 30 years. A spokesperson says that they'll keep up tradition while introducing some new elements.
We have a lot of big plans out there for that market. We're going to continue to develop those and look forward to seeing those in the future. We absolutely love the Dells community. It's been good to us for the last 30 years with our franchisee there, and we are really looking forward to being up there with a bigger presence.
Tommy Bartlett President Jill Deal says that the sale is a bittersweet feeling, but she's happy the property will remain in place for family entertainment.
All right, still going to be some good. There's a lot of things to do up there, and I got overwhelmed just by the things to do. So. Yes.
Yeah, I know. You can't do it all in one trip.
No.
You got to go back a few times. The Tommy Bartlett experience, that was a Wisconsin staple for so many generations. Never got a chance to go when I was a kid or later. So I'll have to take the kids one day and check it out.
Yeah, got to run it back. Well, let's check in with Savannah. What's coming up?
Well, we're tracking cooler conditions. It'll also be breezy and cloudier than yesterday. We'll talk about how strong winds will be and when temps will warm back up.
And we're live in Janesville this morning at the Rock County Historical Society, where they are gearing up for a quilt show this Mother's Day weekend. We're going to give you a sneak peek coming up next in the 608.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Hey, let's see what's going on in the 608 this morning. Rock County Historical Society is gearing up for a quilt show this weekend.
Our Josh Fighter is live in Janesville with an early look. Hey, Josh, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning to you. Something that's perfect for Mother's Day weekend. We're talking about the first quilt show here at the Rock County Historical Society. We've got the mastermind behind the show, Carla Keller, joining us this morning. Carla, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So you've been quilting for how many years?
Probably close to 40 years.
Close to 40 years. And what is it about quilting that is so special for you?
Well, a lot of it started out just making like baby quilts to cover my babies, but then it turns into doing art quilts, because my house has got quilts hung all over the walls for decorations.
This is really what it's all about, is this artistry and a lot of local artistry. A couple of these quilts, I understand, are yours here.
Yes. Yeah, this quilt is mine. It's called Dublin. As quilters, we acquire a lot of fabric. We call it a stash. Quilting has its own language, and our stash is fabric, and I wanted to use a lot of it up, and so this one is what we call a scrappy quilt, but it's made with a pattern.
It's so pretty. I love the colors.
Yes, I like it too.
It's bright. When you look at quilts, what do quilts have to do with history, and why is that significant here for RCHS?
Well, quilts started out just being very useful to keep people warm. And then as fabric became more available and people had more time, then they also, besides being useful to keep people warm, they also can show people's their creativity and be very artsy and still be useful also.
So here at the Rock County Historical Society, you guys are hosting a quilt show this weekend. It's the first time you've ever done this.
First time ever.
So you're really excited.
I am. This is a beautiful campus. We got beautiful weather coming up. It'll be perfect to have quilts outside. We've got like 125 quilts.
125 quilts?
Yes.
That's a lot.
And it's all to the people from the local area, mostly southern Wisconsin, come in and brought their quilts in to share with the public.
Oh, that is so cool. All right, so this is happening both Saturday and Sunday. So if people are interested, Carla, what do they need to know?
They can show up between 10 and 4, and it's $5 for entry. 12 and under is free for kids. We do have free ice cream.
Ooh, I love that.
We're going to have some demonstrations in our little schoolhouse, four demonstrations each day, and they can wander through all of the quilts. There are going to be some in this building in the carriage house, and then there'll be like 40 outside.
And this is awesome because obviously you get to check out the local artistry, but then the $5 tickets, that also goes back to support the missions here at RCHS.
Yes, exactly. We do trying to incorporate the children to get them interested in quilts. We're going to have a story walk, and what it is, it's a book about a grandma quilting with her child, and it's on boards, and there's 20 of them, and so you can walk along and read each page on a board.
That is
that'd
so
be fun.
cool. Oh, it's going to be a great weekend. Carla, thank you so much for sharing and spending some time with us this morning.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to learn more about the Quilt Show or other events happening here at the Rock County Historical Society, you know, we love to visit down here. They've got things going on year-round. Just go to the story up on channel3000.com. I think quilts are special for a lot of folks. I still remember a quilt that my folks had way back in the day, and it's got to be around somewhere. I have to text my mom to see where's that quilt, because I can still remember exactly what it looks like, guys.
Yes, holds a special meaning for sure.
Special heirloom. Josh, thank you. We'll talk to you here in a little bit.
Well, let's check in with Savannah, who's getting us up to date on everything you need to know as you head out the door today. Hey.
Hey guys, good morning. Yeah, not a bad start to our day at all, 52, but it won't be as nice as what we had yesterday. It's still going to be a couple degrees above average with highs pushing about 69, so close to 70. But we'll be dealing with a lot more cloud cover, and also breezy conditions are going to return. Right now, winds are light, up to about 5 to 10 miles per hour, but by the afternoon, the gusts are going to approach 20 to 25 miles per hour. A couple areas could even be near 30. We're not going to see much rain, which is not good for the abnormally dry conditions. Dane County, southern Dane County anyways, south of the city of Madison, has stuck with the abnormally dry conditions on the last several drought monitor updates. It comes out once a week every Thursday morning. So waiting to see if there's any changes, maybe little ones this Thursday, tomorrow. But areas like Platteville, Monroe, down just southwest of Madison, still experiencing moderate drought conditions. Those areas have the better chance of seeing a few stray showers, but again, rain very, very hard to come by the next several days. Once we're getting into mid to late week next week, that's when I think our pattern turns a little bit more active, but calm for now aside of the breezy conditions, and cooler air is going to move in. Not only today will be a couple degrees above average still, but then tomorrow will be a couple degrees below average. And here's the forecast even starting out Friday morning, so late Thursday night into early Friday morning, some patchy frost is possible across southern Wisconsin and really the entire state of Wisconsin, the UP. Northern Michigan too, because temps, those are at least going to get down into the mid 30s. I think a couple of us could even dip all the way down to freezing level or in the lower 30s. That's more likely just north of here, but note that frost is possible. So if you do have sensitive vegetation, any flowers or anything that you have already planted, might want to cover those up, or if you can, bring them inside. Tomorrow we're down to 64, and then temperatures gradually start to improve as we head into Mother's Day weekend. Looking pretty good with highs pushing the upper 70s again. And then even warmer than that next week, Monday through Friday, everyone is at least going to see the upper 70s, but I do think it is very likely that a couple of us break the lower 80s. Again, some of us northwest of Madison saw that yesterday. So if you didn't get out and about, still going to be okay today, but much better heading into this upcoming weekend and next week.
All right, look at those highs. Woo, looking forward to those.
Steaming. But that's what I've been asking for since probably about November.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's fine. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it. Yes.
Hey, still ahead, a competition to snatch some buns and a reason to visit a local landmark.
Our trending headlines up after this. Welcome back. This photo is from Liz. Hey. Bird's eye view for sure. Yes. The bird is all up in the camera.
Yeah, very close.
All up in the business, but I love it. Like, this is a nice capture right here. Liz, keep sending in those photos to us. Hashtag MyNews3Morning.
Yeah, great picture. Thanks, Liz. Hey, trending this morning, a wild competition in China. It's a fun one to watch. It's the bun scrambling competition. It's where climbers race to the top of a tower covered in plastic buns. Whoever can collect the most with the highest value within 3 minutes wins. Higher value ones are way there at the top, and you see them just stuffing those bags, just dangling from a wire. Savannah, you love heights. How would you do in this?
No way. I think I went on a rock climbing wall on a cruise ship once, and it was nowhere near as tall as this, and I didn't even like how high that was. So I would do bad in this competition.
I feel like you have to be in pretty good shape to do it too, because you have to climb this wall fast, grab these buns, throw them in there, throw them behind you. You'd be sore by the end of this if you aren't in shape.
Grab those buns, right?
Yes.
Aim for the week.
Moving on.
So they just, it used to be just men, and now they do women. And it's something they've done there for centuries. Hey, today is National Tourism Day. Congress first initiated it back in 1983 to raise awareness about the important role tourism plays in our economy and culture. Here in Wisconsin, it's a big part of what we do. 113 million visits a year, bringing in $25 billion to the economy. And of course, it cannot be done without everyone who works in the tourism industry. So maybe celebrate today by planning a trip or visiting a local landmark.
All right, what's the coolest place you've been? Nothing comes to mind?
I mean, like, I thought Puerto Rico was pretty nice, but I've been like that's just in general, but like, you know, yes, I liked it there.
New York City or Mount Rushmore?
Alaska for me.
Oh,
okay.
So beautiful.
Yes.
All right, we're back after this. This morning, the suspect in the deadly Cottage Grove car crash is dead. We'll have the latest on the development.
Plus, Governor Evers doubling down on his guidance for state employees, his response to the Trump administration threats.
And the conclave is here. We'll share the sights and sounds from Vatican City. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning on a Wednesday. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Hope your morning is off to a great start. I mean, after yesterday's, oh yes, the sunshine. Gotta love it seeing through, especially after yesterday's temperatures. Yeah. Like it just got me in a good mood. That is for sure.
You feel that warmth. Like the warmth is back.
Yeah, it was real warm, but I'm not complaining.
Especially in that sun. It's what you've been asking for, and we got it. Let's see if we get some more of that today. Meteorologist Vanna Brito is outside on the patio here at our studios in Madison. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we've got the sunshine, at least for the time being, that we saw yesterday that is carrying over into the start of our Wednesday. Not going to last that long. I do think we'll quickly cloud over. It turns breezy, and then we are as a whole going to be cooler today, but it'll still be mild, a little bit above average. We've got even warmer temperatures taking us into Mother's Day weekend and next week, and during that time period, we are also going to be dry, sunny. Rain's going to be very hard to come by. We're waking up to 52 right now. Lots of southern Wisconsin, mid to upper 40s, several of 50s, though, too. 55 in Black River Falls, 52 down in Janesville, and 55 in Monroe. We'll talk about the warmer pattern and also time out exactly what days we might have a stray shower in the forecast coming up.
All right, we'll talk to you then, Savannah. The inmate found dead at the Dane County Jail is the man charged in that deadly Cottage Grove crash that killed chiropractor Dr. Cammie Hansen.
A source familiar with the matter tells us Jeffrey Indris died in jail. Jail staff found Indris unresponsive yesterday morning in his cell. Medical staff tried to save him but were unsuccessful. The cause of death is unknown at this time. Indris died just one day after he appeared in court. Prosecutors upgraded his charge from reckless to intentional homicide, and the judge set his bond at $1 million. A criminal complaint says a juvenile court proceeding is underway involving one of the Hansen children and one of Indris's children. The Hansen child is accused of sensitive crimes related to abusing Indris's child. Indris got information related to the case shortly before he hit the Hansen family, who had been on a walk.
Madison Police and the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office will lead the investigation into the death. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe for the mother and children of the Indris family has been created by a community member. It's already raised more than $10,000.
The man charged in the death of Brooke Stratton will appear in court this afternoon. 25-year-old James Barnes Morris is charged with first-degree intentional homicide with a domestic abuse assessment modifier. He was the last person seen with Stratton before her death. She went missing on September 30th. Investigators found her body on October 3rd on the UW Arboretum property.
The man charged with stabbing another man on State Street earlier this year will go to trial. The judge found Anthony Harper, competent. He is charged with stabbing a man on March 15th on State and Gilman Streets. Court records say that Harper told the man that he was going to die before attacking him. Harper stood silent during his arraignment this week. A not guilty plea was entered on his behalf. He'll be back in court next month.
Taking a live look at the Vatican City, that's where the Cardinals are prepared to select Pope Francis's successor. At 4:30 p.m. local time, the Cardinals will walk solemnly to the Sistine Chapel, take their oath, and lock the doors. And while we don't know when the conclave will end, of the 133 Cardinals, one will come out Pope.
Papal robes in 3 sizes hang in the nearby crying room. That's where the new pontiff will face the feelings and magnitude of the mission. Outside, a temporary chimney is now in place where crowds are going to eagerly watch for signals. Black smoke means no pope has been chosen, while white smoke indicates a new pope has been elected.
We're going to be looking way over there for the smoke.
I'm not religious at all, but I would say that it's still quite a historic moment.
Stay tuned for coverage all week.
Now to the trade war between the U.S. and China. Top U.S. and Chinese officials are set to discuss tariffs in Switzerland this weekend. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says he hopes for de-escalation, but doesn't expect a trade deal. The Chinese Commerce Ministry confirms the talks. The Trump administration says this is the highest level negotiation since the U.S.-China trade war began. It comes as U.S. investors and businesses express concern about tariffs, higher prices, and supply chain issues.
Developing now, Pakistan says 26 people have been killed after an Indian military strike into Pakistan-controlled territory. The attack comes after a month of turmoil between the countries following an attack on tourists in the disputed region of Kashmir. India says the missiles were used to strike infrastructure used by militants linked to that attack. Regardless, it is one of the worst altercations between the two countries in decades.
In state capitol news, the Republican-controlled committee responsible for state spending will meet tomorrow to scrap the governor's budget proposal. The committee will meet to consider a removal of a long list of items, and then they will author their own. The current budget will lapse by the end of June. Wisconsin does not plan to go into shutdown if a new budget is passed.
Governor Tony Evers standing by his guidance to state employees if they encounter federal immigration officers. It comes after White House reporters are alluded that Evers could face criminal charges over his guidance. It's the second time Tom Homan threatened consequences.
Remember what I said, you can not support what we're doing. And you can support sanctuary cities, that's what you want to do. But if you cross that line of impediment or knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien, that is a felony. And we're treated as such.
I would think he would have more important things to do than mess around with the governor from Wisconsin.
The dispute is around a memo issued by Evers last month. It directs state workers to not answer questions or allow federal agents to access computers without first contacting an attorney. Evers said he's unaware of any undocumented migrants working for the state.
In other local news, Columbus's popular citywide garage sales are back, and this year finding the best deals just got easier. You're taking a look now at their new interactive Google map display that pinpoints every registered garage sale in town. Looks like there's going to be plenty to choose from.
Look at that.
This helps shoppers plan their route with ease. You can access the map directly through the Columbus Area Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. If you're looking to host a sale, it's free to get listed.
Yeah, good weather this weekend if you're going out garage sailing.
Yes, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of finds out there. People have some good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that need to get rid of some stuff. So, yes, good luck to the people in Columbus. But let's check on Savannah to see how the weather's shaping up this morning.
Well, guys, the weather's pretty nice this morning, but temperatures are not going to be nearly as nice as what we had yesterday. We'll have those details and how windy it'll be coming up.
And just after the break, get a taste of one of the winners of Madison Magazine's Best Barbecue.
Also ahead this morning, we're live in Janesville, the Rock County Historical Society, where they are gearing up for the airing of the Quilt show. We're going to get a sneak peek coming up next in the 608.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
Well, welcome back and good morning. Temperature is not off to a bad start. We're at 52 in Madison, 48 in Watertown, 58 in Monroe, 53 in the Dells. So it is mild, but temperatures will not be as nice as what we had yesterday. We made it into the mid to upper 70s and even a couple spots that were pushing the lower 80s northwest of Madison. The rest of the day, though, we'll see temperatures climb back into the 60s. The forecast high for Madison, 69, so most of southern Wisconsin should be right about 70. Still going to be above average, just cooler than what we had yesterday. Breezier and also mostly cloudy, even though we're still seeing the sunshine right now. Clouds are going to quickly increase, and so will our wind speeds and gusts. By later this morning, about 9:30, those are going to approach about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Madison, north and northeast, though, those could even reach close to 20. And then this afternoon into the evening, those will be picking up about 25 to 30 miles per hour. So winds will definitely be more of a factor compared to what we had yesterday. They are going to come down down a little bit, not tonight, but tomorrow night into early Friday morning. That's when our winds are going to calm down. That with the cooler air, though, could lead to some patchy frost. We've got a backdoor cold front. We'll knock our temperatures down for tomorrow afternoon. We're back down into the mid 60s, but more specifically for tomorrow night and then into early Friday morning, check out our lows. We could see those drop, I think, at least the mid 30s. A couple of us could even be close to freezing level in the lower 30s. So if you do have and planted anything outside, bring that inside or at least cover up sensitive vegetation, because it will be cool tonight and tomorrow. But again, tomorrow night into Friday will be the cooler night and coolest that we've seen in quite some time. We do have a warmer temperature pattern, though, relatively speaking, aside of the next couple of days with the 60s, the 70s, upper 70s are back for Mother's Day weekend, and that's going to stick around. We have that ridge that's been building. I was talking about that last week over the Great Plains. That's going to continue to expand eastward, and this is taking us into the week after Mother's Day. We'll be dry for that extended period until at least mid to late week next week, but also pretty warm. So we've got the upper 70s both Saturday and Sunday. Check out the lows too heading into next week, the 50s. We've got highs that will get into the 80s across some of southern Wisconsin. We'll be at least in the upper 70s, and then some of us lower 80s all of next week, Monday through Friday.
All right, things looking good for us, that is for sure. Savannah, thank you.
Hey, we're looking for some Plan My Day videos. Send us one. Share your name, where you're at, and then upload it to our website or Facebook Messenger or email, and then watch to see if you make it on the air.
It's National Barbecue Month, and we are celebrating by highlighting some local small businesses. It's the perfect time to celebrate the flavors, traditions, and the community that barbecue brings to the table. Best of Madison 2024 winner, Beef Butter Barbecue, knows what it's all about. And here now is owner Patrick Reha and Meat Master John Lehman. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, how did you get started in the barbecue business?
Well, first of all, it all started with Franklin Barbecue down in Austin, Texas. I was down in Texas. I waited in 4 hours in line to go eat there. And after 4 hours, I finally got in and I ordered one of everything. My lunch was $72. And I said, oh my God, we don't have anything like this up in Wisconsin. So it started there. I started touring all these barbecue restaurants. I bought a small smoker, then a bigger smoker, then a bigger smoker, built a trailer, and then ended up with the restaurants. And we've been in business for 7 years now.
7 years and going.
Yes.
Yes, gotta love it. So for all of our viewers out there, what makes the perfect barbecue?
Well, first of all, starting with the highest quality meats. You know, our brisket is a Black Angus prime brisket. When we get them in raw, they're like 18 pounds. We trim 4 pounds of fat off. So by the time we are slicing our brisket for our customers, it is 6 pounds. So you get a 33% yield. And the other key is starting with quality ingredients, and we have a meat market also. So we make 50 different varieties of brats and ribeye steak burgers, filet mignons. And so you just got to start with high quality meats, first of all. So.
Okay, it all starts there.
Yes.
And John, I'm sure this takes lots of prep through your day.
A lot of work. Like 13 hours for a brisket, right? After we trim it, we smoke it for 13 hours. So Patrick read a book after he opened it, and he goes, the hardest restaurant to run is a barbecue.
But of course, people need some tips at home. So what are some tips that you have for our viewers out there?
Well, first of all, for smoking, a lot of people bought a pellet smoker, right? And so we always say, listen, pellet smokers have the best smoke at 180 degrees. Smoke, you know, whether the brisket for 6 hours or the pork butt for 6 hours, the ribs for 3 hours, the chicken for a couple hours. Do your smoking first, then sauce them and wrap them, and then crank the temperature up to 300 degrees, because 180 degrees is not hot enough to render the fat into the meat. And so after you get your smoking, wrap them, crank it up to 300 degrees, and it'll be amazing. If you start off, you know, just smoking at 300 degrees, your pellet smoker is going to burn too clean, like a pellet oven. So you got to do your smoking at 180 for pellet smoker, and then wrap and crank it up to 300 until the meat is done, and it'll be awesome.
All right. So is that kind of your process here every day?
We use real oak. Our oak comes from local woods that my dad used to deer hunt in, and we use a seasoned oak. We split it, and it sits out for 18 months until the moisture gets down to 20%, and then we go through about $1,000 worth of firewood a month.
Wow. So there's a lot that goes into getting that perfect barbecue.
Absolutely.
Well, we will have all of the details about beef butter barbecue over on our website, channel3000.com.
Time to see what's going on in the 608 this morning. The Rock County Historical Society is getting ready for a quilt show this weekend.
Our Josh Fighter is live in Janesville with an early look. Hey, Josh.
Hey guys, good morning to you. It's called the Airing of the Quilt Show, and it's the first of its kind here at RCHS, happening this Mother's Day weekend. We have the brains behind it, Carla Keller, joining us this morning. Carla, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
So quilting, why is it so special in your life?
Oh, I started quilting when I had babies and made quilts to cover them up. And then as I got older, I made more quilts. And then I started doing more art quilts to hang on my wall and decorate my house.
So you're kind of the mastermind behind the quilt show happening this weekend. And how many quilts are you going to be having here at the RCHS?
Well, we have 126.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're all from creative people from the southern Wisconsin
That's
area.
so cool. I love that. And a couple of those quilts are in this room are yours.
Yes.
You talked about this one earlier. Now I want you to talk about this one back here because you have a really unique story behind it.
Well, I belong to several different quilting groups, and I wanted to do something a little different. So I went to the got paint chips from the paint store, and everybody chose 3 out of a bag, so they didn't know what they were choosing. And we had to make a quilt that had those colors of the paint chips in it.
That's so cool.
And this is the one I did.
How long did something like this take you?
Well, I was on a kind of a crunch, so I actually did it every evening for about three weeks at least.
3 weeks, and how many hours through those evenings?
Lots.
4,
5, 6 hours every day. I was still working then, and then just getting it quilted was another day.
And quilting, was pretty therapeutic for you. You enjoy doing it.
I do. To me, if I'm ever under stress at all, I sit down at the sewing machine and sew, and it's just, you can get in your own world sewing. I love being challenged now, too. When I first started, I made real basic quilts, and now I tend to make the more challenging ones, because I love to be challenged to see what I can create. Because sometimes I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually made that.
That is so cool. It's crazy to think that everyone in this, all these quilts were made.
I'm so excited because we have some quilts that people are just going to be blown away. The creativity and the skill level and all the different techniques that are being represented at the show is just unbelievable.
So this weekend is the chance to check them out. Saturday and Sunday, what do folks need to know if they want to come out here to the RCHS?
The hours are from 10 to 4 each day. It's $5 to enter. It's kids 12 and under are free. We have free ice cream.
Ooh.
We got some demonstrations going on in our schoolhouse, which people can drop in and see. Some local quilters are demonstrating different things. And this campus is so beautiful, and having quilts outdoors and indoors is just going to be amazing.
And the weather looks great this weekend.
That was my big concern, because we kept trying to have plan B in case it rained, because we got 40 quilts outside.
Oh, this is going to be so special. Well, Carla, thank you so much for giving us a little of that history this morning. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And if you'd like to learn more about the Airing of the Quilt Show happening this weekend, just go to the story up on channel3000.com, guys.
Oh, they look so neat.
I'm going to go back home, go to bed.
It's such cool, because quilts all have, they usually have a story.
Yes, a story to tell.
And they were made by hand and usually with love. So Josh, thanks for showing us. We appreciate it. Josh is always looking for inspirational stories to share with you folks. Got an idea for him? Send one his way. He'd love to hear from you.
Coming up in the morning, Sprint, the 62-year-old diet company that filed for bankruptcy.
If you have a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV. We're back with the Sprint next. .653, time for the morning sprint.
The inmate found dead at the Dane County Jail is the 49-year-old man charged in the deadly Cottage Grove crash. A source familiar with the matter tells us Jeffrey Indris died in jail yesterday morning. Indris died just 1 day after he appeared in court. Prosecutors upgraded his charge from reckless to intentional homicide, and the judge set his bond at $1 million.
Authorities say the man stabbed outside of a Fitchburg bar and grill has died. Officers say the stabbing happened in the Monkey Shines parking lot around 1 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Police say a 39-year-old has been taken into custody at a home in Sun Prairie. Officers say more information will come out later today.
The man charged in the death of Brooke Stratton will appear in court this afternoon. 25-year-old James Barnes Morris is charged with first-degree intentional homicide with a domestic abuse assessment modifier. He was the last person seen with Stratton before her death. She went missing on September 30th. Investigators found her body on October 3rd on the UW Arboretum property.
The Sauk County Sheriff's Office investigating a fire truck crash that left 2 firefighters with non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say one of their water tenders lost control on Highway 113 north of Highway 78 near Lake Wisconsin. The truck went into the ditch and rolled over. Both people inside were pinned and later flown to UW Hospital.
Let's take a look at the Vatican City. That's where they will begin the conclave at 4:30 p.m. local time. While we don't know when a pope will be chosen, we will find out hopefully in the next couple of days.
Weight Watchers has filed for bankruptcy. The 62-year-old diet program announcing that it entered Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Weight Watchers says operations for members will continue as normal, though. The company expects to emerge in about 40 days as a publicly traded company with its massive $1.5 billion in debt eliminated. Weight Watchers has struggled to keep up with weight loss options like GLP-1 drugs.
Top U.S. and Chinese officials are set to discuss tariffs in Switzerland this weekend. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says he hopes for de-escalation, but doesn't expect a trade deal. The Chinese Commerce Ministry confirms the talks. The Trump administration says this is the highest level negotiation since the U.S.-China trade war began.
Pakistan says 26 people have been killed after an Indian military strike into Pakistan-controlled territory. The attack comes after a month of turmoil between the countries, following an attack on tourists in the disputed region of Kashmir. India says the missiles were used to strike infrastructure used by militants linked to that attack. Still, it's one of the worst altercations between the countries in decades.
Temperatures are still going to be pushing the 70-degree mark later this afternoon. It just won't be as warm as what we had yesterday. And then cooler tomorrow, 64 only, before our big warm-up into Mother's Day weekend. And next week, we'll be pushing the upper 70s and even the lower 80s with some sunshine.
All right, those spring-like temperatures finally coming to us.
Yeah, May coming in full swing.
All right, Savannah, thank you.
We're back in 30 minutes with the news and weather update.